Are all people mentally ill?
I have no idea.
Is this the Dr. Ray?
I'm out of work. How do I find a job?
I don't know.
Boy, you hit the nail right on the head there.
Now, why would I say something so dumb?
I don't know.
I don't remember what I said. Help me out.
I listen to you all the time. You're my shot in the arm.
Well, it makes sense from your perspective and your individual brain.
And I guess that's true, but doggone.
Well, are you better than God?
No way.
I think I'm going to have to change this channel. I'm sorry.
Oh, no!
Great stuff, Dr. Ray. Glad I called.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Doing my own stunt voices and discipline. No body doubles here. Pronouncing all difficult words myself. Pulchritudinous. Psychopharmacological. Excoriate magniloquence. All words rolling off the tongue. Nice to have you here on The Doctor's In. The number, 87. See, sometimes I give out the number first. Sometimes I introduce the show first. Sometimes I say hello first. It all just varies. But the number today is 877-573-7825, as it is every day. 877-57-EQUAL. If you'd like to be part of the program. It's a little bit too easy, I think, for you people. For me to get on this program, I had to scratch and claw and grovel my way up the Catholic media ladder, finally arriving after multiple years. But no, all you do is just dial a number. You're spoiled, really, I think. 877-573-7825. Question about something in your life, something going on. I'm a psychologist. During the week, I spend a fair amount of time in the office, in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, seeing folks. People ask, you still see people? Of course I do. Why would I not want to do that? That's something that puts you in direct connection with an awful lot of what people struggle with nowadays, or what's going on in their lives. Not necessarily a struggle, sometimes just an occurrence. So the number is 877-57-EQUAL. Question, comment, helpful suggestion for someone else, general question, something you don't understand in the realm of mental health or psychology or development or intellect or emotions or behavior, or the utility of a designated hitter in Major League Baseball. Be delighted to have you. Okay, what else is going on? Real quick, tomorrow, good Lord permitting, I will be in suburb of Cleveland at the Embassy Suites on Rockside Road in Cleveland. That is our affiliate up there, The Rock, AM 1260. Used to be the former Wixie. I used to listen to that when I was in high school. It was the pop station. The Mamas and the Papas and the Turtles and Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears and all those groups. Long gone. Well, actually not. They're still 80 years old, and they're doing shows around the country in more limited venues. They can't really sell out a rock station and a stadium anymore. But I will be at the Babel Conference, the B-A-B-L-E. No, B-A-B. No, that's the Bible. The B-I-B-L-E. That's the song we had to learn when I was in the evangelical world. Babel, B-A-B-L, Bringing America Back to Life. Big conference, as I understand it. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, pro-life conference in the U.S. So pretty good sized thing. Get a chance to speak there tomorrow morning. I don't know if they're sold out or not. They told me one of the reasons they invited me to speak there is because usually that allows them to have a lot more tickets because they don't get sold out. You know, if they bring in other speakers, they get sold out rather quickly. I think I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not. Anyway, want to hear from you. Please give me a call. Be delighted to speak with you. It's been said oftentimes by many experts, you need to let the children know why you're disciplining them. If you're going to hold them accountable for some piece of misconduct, there's going to be a consequence for this. You need to let them know what they did wrong. You need to tell them, right? I don't fully agree with that. And here's why. Most misconduct on the part of kids is repetitive. It's not anything that is new. It clumps around certain themes. Mistreatment of a sibling, disrespect, chore shirking, bedtime bad times, temper tempests, meltdowns. I mean, it's stuff that is reiterated. If he's going to taunt his sister, then you don't need to tell him every time he taunts his sister why it's wrong to taunt his sister. He knows it's wrong to taunt his sister. You've told him. You've taught him. Many times, probably. So, tomorrow morning, getting ready for school, if he taunts his sister and tries to make morning life miserable for her, do you need to say, now, is that how we treat our sister? And he's thinking, what do you mean, we? You don't even have a sister in this house. Why are you including yourself in this? But see, we always say we because it makes it softer. Do you need to tell him again? Should you treat your sister that way? Do you think she likes that? I don't really think you need to reiterate your explanation on something that is obvious and been obvious for months, perhaps years. You got a 12-year-old who can get kind of snooty, snotty, snippy, snarly in their tone. Do you need to tell them every time that if you use that tone, there's going to be a consequence? Do you need to do that? Or do you think he knows by now you don't use that tone with mom or dad? I think that probably about 90% of what you would have to tell him repeatedly, you don't have to tell him repeatedly. He knows. If he's leaving his coat on the floor for the 298th time, do you have to tell him, now what's going to happen if you leave your coat on the floor? What am I going to do about it? Do you know? Can you predict? What do you think? What have I done the previous 297 times? It's extra work is what it is. It's extra discipline work. It's discipline effort. You want to keep your discipline as simple as you can. Most of the stuff that kids do to misbehave is not creative. It isn't new. It isn't a stunt. It isn't something where you think, wow, never seen him do that before. No, it's kid stuff. It's what they do. Thought I could get away with it. Didn't think you were going to catch me. The impulse hit me. I wanted to do it. They're not real complex in their thinking. So do you have to remind him each and every time? Because parents will ask me this. Should we remind him each and every time why he's being disciplined? Well, depends how slow you think he is to get this. If, in fact, you've disciplined him 84 times for mistreating his sister, don't you think he probably has got some inkling that he shouldn't mistreat his sister by now? And when you keep telling him, it's sort of nagging, isn't it? It's kind of reminding. It's nagging. That would be like me every time I take a break saying something like, I'll be right back. Because you know, if you've listened to this show with any regularity, and by the way, I count regularity as anybody who's listened more than 2 times over the last 10 years. I'll take that as a regular listener. A very loose definition of regular listener. Then you would know I'm going to be back. You can't be sure I'm going to be back because you can't predict the future perfectly. But on the basis of my past breaks, and I said, I'll be right back, you knew ultimately I came back. And so that's why I probably don't say, I'll be right back. Stay there. Don't go away. Stay tuned. Because I'm just repeating myself. Where am I going to go? Well, that said, I will repeat the number because Eric Dumont, my call screamer, says I need to give it out more. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number to call to get onto the program. And I'd love to hear from you. Got a lot of time, a lot of lines open. So come on in. We'll jaw if you're a guy and share and emote and chat if you're a female. 877-57-EQUAL is the number. I'll be right back.
Call now for great advice from Dr. Ray. Now, don't you feel better?
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
The Catholic Church teaches that Jesus Christ is literally and wholly present, body and blood, soul and divinity, under the appearances of bread and wine. St. John the Apostle records the John chapter 6 Bread of Life discourse, in which Jesus states that his flesh is true food and his blood true drink. Who better to understand John's writings and subsequent teachings than a disciple and student of John, St. Ignatius of Antioch? In his letter to the Smyrnians in 110 AD, Ignatius writes, "I have no taste for corruptible food, nor for the pleasures of this life. I desire the bread of God, which is the flesh of Jesus Christ. And for drink, I desire his blood, which is love incorruptible." The Catholic Church absolutely follows St. John and St. Ignatius in taking Jesus at his word. Examining the truths of the Catholic faith, this is faithforensics.org.
The following program is brought to you in part by MyCatholicWill.com. Surveys show that more than half of Americans do not have a will. At MyCatholicWill.com, it takes as little as 15 minutes to write your will and secure a legacy of faith. MyCatholicWill.com is the exclusive online destination for creating a Catholic will. The process of writing a will is simple and now more accessible than ever. MyCatholicWill.com, a legacy of faith for those you love.
All right, let me share with you one of the questions that I get. Dr. Ray, did you ever feel like you were trapped in a woman's body? I did. Yeah, there was a period of my life when I struggled. I felt that I was a male trapped in a female body. I did. That happened for about 9 months. And then I was born. All right. What do we got here? We got somebody coming back home. James from Indiana. Hello, James.
Hello, Dr. Ray.
Thanks for the call, sir.
Yes, thank you. So, an adult daughter, she left home and tried to go about her life, didn't do well financially or just relationally, a lot of problems. So we let her come back home as a safety net. Has been there more than a year. Has all but abandoned her faith. Has just really added nothing but negative and chaos and conflict to the home. And now it's to the point where the way she treats her mother, if there was another grown man in my home treating my wife that way, there'd probably be a fight. So I know I'm at the point where, even though it's my daughter, she needs to go, but I'm not sure how to do that without making it worse.
Oh, you got to make it worse, James.
okay.
You know that because she doesn't want to go.
Right.
She's not going to say, "Oh, Father, I would have been upset had you requested that I find lodgings elsewhere, but since you did it so diplomatically and so tactfully, I'm finding rather relief, and I'm feeling that our relationship can proceed to be smooth and warm, and because you approached it in such a beautiful way." Now, am I delusional or what?
No, you're probably spot on.
This is what happens, James. Typically, the parents will say, "All right, let's give it another run. Let's see if anything's going to be different this time around," right? She had to leave the first time. She wasn't the greatest living with her. Okay, we had relief. She came back because things got a little rough in her life, and we figured, okay, we'll give her another chance. And you found out, same old, right?
Pretty close, yes.
How come you went a whole year?
I kept thinking she would come up with an exit plan, and it got to be February, and my wife and I were talking, and we hadn't thought about it being a year. And hey, when did she move in, and what was the weather? Oh my gosh, it's been a year.
Seems like a decade, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Well, just as an aside, did your wife have any bad feelings, ill will, resentment that this daughter had been allowed to treat her that way?
My wife's response is she just wants to not even acknowledge it or not interact with the bad treatment because she doesn't want to build estrangement. My wife even has friends, and just friends in her life that are like, wow, if that was my daughter, she'd be out today, kind of thing. So,
well, James, let's look at your wife's thinking on this for a second, okay?
Sure.
She says, "I'm going to do my best to tolerate and ignore this kind of mistreatment because if I don't, it'll get really ugly, and ultimately it will lead to estrangement." That's her thinking, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So is she saying that it hasn't gotten ugly as she's tried to ignore this? Because she's at the point where she wants to kick her out. So I'm assuming it's nevertheless gotten ugly anyway.
Yeah, just not in like open conflict, just in nasty, demeaning treatment. You know, like,
oh,
wow, everything you do is dumb, and
ooh, that's ugly.
You don't understand the world, and
that's ugly.
Yes, yeah.
So it's safe to say that your wife, and I hear this theme a lot, that your wife her instinct says, we're not helping you by letting you treat us this way living here, freeloading off of us. We're not helping you. However, if we were to take any kind of stand on this, we risk totally fracturing the relationship. So that's where she's at.
Yes.
When will she get to the point where she says, I can't take it anymore, and if the relationship is fractured, it's fractured?
She's at the point now where she will let me take action. She even said to me last night, I'm not happy about what this is going to look like, but I'm going to let you protect me.
Now, this is interesting, James, if I might weigh in on here, since it is my show.
That's your show, yes.
You're implying that you, prior to this, you had come to this conclusion a long time ago, but your wife stopped you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I said well because I'm looking for thoughts to coalesce in my head. I'm just stalling for time. In fact, this is typically the trajectory. Parents get to their limit at different points. More often it is the dad who says, enough. The mom, we can't. What would happen to her? What will happen to our relationship? I couldn't live with myself if something really bad happened. And then, as time goes on, there's no change. In fact, the only change is it's gotten worse. And then mom says, okay, I've finally had enough. It sounds like that's where you're at, correct?
Yes.
So if your wife has said, all right, you won't get marital resistance from me, what do you want to do?
I want to be at least decent about it and say, hey, you need to be out in 3 months. You need to come up with a plan and be out in 3 months. I don't.
Why'd you pick 3 months?
I'm trying to pick a time that's reasonable to go from not looking at all to finding an apartment, arranging for moving, all of that. A month feels too sudden. I don't know that I could. I mean, we have more stuff, but I don't know that I could find a new place, get everything packed up, make the arrangements, and be there in a month. And I'm just trying to be,
all right.
Even though I know it's time for it to be over, I at the same time I want to be decent.
Okay, so you've decided that in your mind 3 months is fair. Fair enough. You're dead. You could say 6 months if you want. You could say 2 days if you want. Okay, so you've decided 3 months is fair. Now, always the military axiom is this: hope for the best, plan for the worst. What if at the end of 3 months she doesn't have a place?
Ooh. I hadn't considered that.
That's why you called me.
Yeah, you consider these things. Yeah.
It's because I've seen it 6 million times. That's why. I'm not so smart.
Yeah.
I just have seen it. It's more likely that she will drag her feet. Then what?
I think to protect my wife and our home, and if it came to that, it would have to be me and some of my friends packing her things, over the course of a weekend and putting them in a storage unit.
Okay, and that's fair enough. You have every right to do that as a parent. You can do that. I don't know. I've actually heard some legalities that you can't. I'm not sure about that. But as I understand it, you can still do that. That said, you're right. And maybe you need to tell her at the end of 3 months, if you haven't found a place, this is what I plan to do.
Mm-hmm.
That'll make it more likely that she'll try to find a place before the 3 months.
Rather than waiting until she won't look until 2.5 months if she doesn't think there's an or else.
That's right. Yep. The one thing you're going to have to deal with, James, is your wife's guilt.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She gave it a try. She gave it her best. And you have a young adult here who's mistreating you, being disrespectful, probably ungrateful, probably freeloading, all these things. And here is the thing you tell your wife. We are not helping our daughter. We are hurting our daughter by doing this, by allowing this to go on. God bless, my friend. I'll tell you this, though. If you make a move before the relationship totally deteriorates, there's a much better chance that it'll heal than if you let it go on and on and on and on and on until it's so totally deteriorated it may not heal. Thank you for joining me here. Dr. Ray Guarendi, program Doctors In, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Co-production, EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network, and Ave Maria Radio Communications. I always want to be one of the guys that did that on the air. Okay, one of our great EWTN radio partners needs to hear from you. Next week, Siouxland Catholic Radio, serving Sioux City and Storm Lake. And by the way, good Lord permitting, next week, I will be in Sioux City, Iowa, speaking at the men's conference. So that's kind of cool. So they're kicking off their spring drive on Tuesday, and I'm going to be heading over there on Friday, and the conference is on Saturday. So give them your support. All righty. Let's go to Indy from South Dakota. Hi, Indy.
Indy, here, Dr. Ray.
Yes, sir.
Okay, regarding the conversation you had with the gentleman, what did you call him, Jim or James or whatever?
Yeah.
I run into something like that 3 years ago. I walked into a gentleman's house and had supper, and there was a 25-year-old there. I've known her for years. And all of a sudden she just disappeared while we were having supper. I said, well, where did Sarah go? Let's just say Sarah. And he told me her people rattle her nerves. She can't be around people. And I said, well, that's a problem, but she can't be sitting in her room. And I talked to him periodically after that. And I said, how is Sarah doing? Oh, she's in her room all day long. I said, get her out of there. Whatever you have to do, I've been there too. I never stayed at home, but I had them kind of problems. And eventually he was able to tell me that he gets her to do yard work. And I said, get her out, take her to town, whatever. Have her walk around the block, do whatever you have to. And you know what? I didn't talk to him. I talked to him, but a year, 2 days ago, I mentioned, well, how's Sarah doing? And he said, well, she's out of the house. She's down south someplace and trying to take a job. She moved in with my brother, and everything's fine. And he said what the problem was, she's bipolar. And I said, I know what that is. I got that too. Somebody that's bipolar maybe could be better understood or explained. You're the happiest person 1 minute, and you can just.
Well, Indy, what is the observation you wish to make about what he did?
Well, I'm just trying to tell you how people can be treated. You can't just sit down in your room and just run away. People need to move on. Be put.
Well, you can, Indy. You can if they let you. If you got parents who say you can live here and you can just sit in your room and vegetate away, they will. So it comes down to the adult, the older adult in this dynamic saying we can't let you do that because it is hurting you. But unfortunately, Indy, you know as well as I do, it's very hard for people to do what is good and right if they're scared, if they think something bad is going to happen if they do that. So I'm kind of surprised that your friend took your advice.
We have to make that start someplace.
Well, you're right.
We have to get her out of her room, maybe into the front room, and then maybe out in the yard into a doctor and pills and whatever. But we just got to keep working.
Well, yes and no. She's 25 years old, so if she decides I don't want to cooperate, then now what's plan B? We all know. Well, we don't all know, but we have a good idea most of the time what's good for somebody else's mental health. That's not the problem. The problem is, will they cooperate? That's the problem. So, good call, Indy. Thank you so much.
One more thing. You just hope and pray you'll reach it and achieve it, whatever you think can be done with the Lord's help.
That's true, my friend. That's always the hope. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Indy brings up a point I'd like to extrapolate on here just a shade. People will say to me, what's the hardest part of therapy? Do you ever get confused about which direction to go, or do you not have any idea whatsoever to maybe help someone out or to explore the situation? That happens much less often than this. I generally been doing this long enough that any situation that comes up in therapy is something that I've seen before in some variety. Not exactly the same, but a lot of the same themes. Very common. As Ecclesiastes says, there's nothing new under the sun. The problem is, and this is something that I found early on when I was doing parent education, getting people past their resistance to doing it. That's what makes marriage counseling so hard. Because of the ill will built up, the bad feelings, they may know the kinds of things they could do to improve their marriage, but they don't want to do it. The other person doesn't deserve me doing that. Or I'm not the one who's most wrong. I'll change when they will. There are all kinds of justifications for not doing what would be good to do. It's kind of like trying to get in shape and losing weight. Most people know very basically what they need to do. This is not rocket science here. Eat less, move more. It's that straightforward. But they don't do it for all kinds of reasons. So because of that, you find that out in what Indy was saying. Yeah, this 25-year-old who is just simply withdrawing into her bedroom whenever somebody comes over because she has some kind of anxiety matters. He knows what would be better for her to do, but she's not cooperative. Then what? It's like our previous call, our call from, I believe, James, whose daughter has been increasingly difficult, adult daughter, living with them, and he said, I'm going to give her a timeline. And he assumed that she was going to be agreeable to that timeline. What if she wasn't? What if 3 months hit and she said, I still haven't found a place and I've been looking. I've been looking really hard and I still haven't found a place. I need more time. What then? Another 2 months? Another month? Another 3 months? What then? Life demands tough decisions, especially sometimes with those we love. It does. And people call it tough love. No, it's not tough love. It is love. It is love to not allow this child to mistreat her mother. It is not tough love by saying you can't mistreat your mother. I'm being tough. No, you're not being tough. You're being loving. You don't do that. This is not good for you to do that. It's not good for your mom to do that. The whole loving thing is I don't allow this to happen. So that's it. 877-573-7825. We're down at the bottom of the program now. Tomorrow we look back Friday, so you want to get your calls in, get them in today, because I'll just be looking back at your calls tomorrow. I won't be looking ahead at anything you might have to say. Rhythm is something similar to Anton Carlos Jobim, who's written a lot of those songs, but that's not his song. That's just that's Muzak right there. Okay, Father Bill Casey, in a series of brief reflections on topics ranging from the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist to the role that the Blessed Virgin plays in everyday prayer life. He's got a great book, Making a Holy Lent. 40 meditations to prepare you for the church's holiest season. A lot of years of experience for Father Casey, retreat master, regular EWTN host. Each of these holy topics has got a refreshing dose of common sense. Available at EWTNRC.com. No, they're not advertising any of my books. What's with these people? Jerry is calling from Connecticut. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Dr. Ray, you are so awesome. I just love you. I listen to you, here and there, and read your book on grandparents, and I love your advice. So,
wait a minute, Jerry. Wait a minute. You had me gone there. Awesome, love me, and then you went and qualified it. I listen to you here and there. Yeah, that hurts.
Well, I know. I'm sorry. I'm kind of busy, out in the community, going out and doing things. And I am retired, but no, don't sit down every day at 1:00. But if I can, I try to put you on, maybe walk around the block and and listen, that type of thing.
Well, Jerry, if you got psychological gaps, don't blame me then. That's all I can say.
What does that mean?
Well, you're not listening enough, so you're going to have psychological gaps in your makeup because you're not listening
I have
enough.
Psychological through my fault.
Yeah, there you go. So wait a minute, you got to. Now, is this is your granddaughter who ran away, the 19-year-old?
Yes. Yeah, she ran away when she was like 18, probably about 6 months ago, like the end of last summer. Oh. She had a fight with her dad. She was actually doing very well, finished, graduated high school, and was going to go to the local community college here and was registered and everything. And then she broke up with her boyfriend that we really loved, kind of, because, we went to church all the time and that type of thing.
Oh, she didn't like him because of that. You guys liked him, but she didn't.
Right. But he was a great guy. And I think she likes him still, but they broke up. So we were kind of heartbroken. I don't know. So the whole thing is kind of sketchy. They don't give us much information. My son doesn't, type thing.
Why do you think that's the case? Why do you think he doesn't tell you, Jerry?
Good question. Probably because he's worried about her, and I don't know. I don't know. There was a fight, and I don't know what the fight.
No, but I mean, why do you think he wouldn't tell you about where she's doing and how she's doing, knowing you're the caring grandma?
Well, he doesn't know where she is. She was in New York City, ran away and texts him. So she's got a phone that he pays for, so he can kind of keep in touch with her,
Okay.
So he knows that she's in New York City, and that actually he has visited her a couple of times, but she's kind of breaking away more. Like the uncles have called, and people, like when it first happened, she would relate, and then she's pulling away. So it's just weird, not answering any of our texts or anything.
Oh, she doesn't respond to you at all?
For the beginning, she did last maybe October or so, maybe November. First, she said, "I'm fine, Grammy, don't worry." And then she never communicated with me again. And then she hasn't anybody else except her dad. So she has been in touch with Cav, via text. And he was talking. And he did go to the local police. And they did call her. And she just said that, no, I had a fight with my dad. I don't want to come home. I'm fine. And they kind of said, you can't push any further than that.
That's true.
So that's about as much information she does have.
So for you, Jerry, what is the concern?
I'm just worried about her. Worried about her being in New York City. Who is she with? To be honest, I go to the extreme, and I worry about trafficking or something. Like, how is she in the city? She met this guy. Apparently, she's
okay. Hold on a second, honey. Hold on a second. You're worried. I got that part. But what can you do about that worry?
Just reassure Kev and pray and hope Natalie, makes the right decisions. Hope she doesn't get into something. Like, I'm worried that maybe they have something held over her.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. Here's what I need you to do, okay? For the next week, I want you to worry and worry and worry and worry as much as you can. Anything that threatens to distract you from worrying, push it away and continue to worry, okay? And then, at the end of the week, after all that worrying, I want you to check and see if things are better.
That's funny, because I've just done that now for so long. She did end up calling me at St. Patrick's Cathedral when it was my birthday. My husband would take me out when I lit a candle to St. Jude. So I was like, thank you, God.
Well, if you're saying, Jerry, if you're saying to me, help me not to worry.
No, I'm not really saying.
Okay.
Just know, is there anything as grandparents that we can do to help? I mean,
you tried to contact her, right?
Yes, and she did, she texted me in St. Patrick's Cathedral, and then actually yesterday she did meet up with Kevin in the city, and when
How about this? You text her and you say, honey, thinking about you, just want you to know, love you, praying for you all the time,
right.
and hoping to hear from you.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yes, and I did hear from her, so I'm happier, but I just thought, I don't know. I guess.
Well, it ain't good enough, right?
that ain't good enough because I worry about her. But like you were saying with your other callers, you just have to let go and let God, I guess.
We just can't accept when somebody's going to behave foolishly.
Yeah.
We just can't accept it.
She does have a history of manic depression, so she's been off her meds for a year. So that's what scares me. She's on them for.
Well, we don't know if the diagnosis was reliable or not. Too. A lot of kids are getting those diagnoses,
And she looked cute in this picture, and she looked healthy. So, with Kev, he did send a quick video, happy birthday, to the other granddaughter. So that was nice.
Just let her know you'll still be there if and when she decides to reconnect with some of her family members.
Okay.
That's what you can do, and that's it. And if you want to worry about it, keep worrying, okay, because that'll help.
No, I don't. I mean, I say my prayers. I feel better, but I just thought I just would try to talk to you and see if I get to drive my family crazy. So, But anyways, no, I feel better. And she is, she turned 19 now, and she did look good in the picture, so maybe she's okay.
Oh, it's Photoshopped. No, it's Photoshopped. She's just making herself look good. She's probably on the streets living underneath a bridge. See,
all right, so don't worry about that.
I am teasing you because I just want to show you all that worrying is doing. First of all, it's just making you miserable, and it's not helping her one whit.
Absolutely.
Until you decide that, love, until you decide that, then you'll just be in the same position.
Yes. No, I feel better. I feel better because I did hear from her. But I just thought I'd run it by. I never called you. I listened to you. So I thought, what? I'll run this by.
Well,
Dr. Ray,
you called and you said, well, that was a waste of a call. I got nothing from that dude.
No. I'm so thankful to talk to you. And I think you're wonderful. And I want to get more of your books.
Well, you better, for heaven's sake.
The one that's most recent, the one that you said, trying to get along with everybody or something like that. I forget. I got to look that one up.
How to get along with almost everybody.
Yes, I like that. I want to do that. So that's perfect.
And my wife says that my picture.
That's another whole discussion.
Yes, it is. My wife says my picture should be on the back of that book underneath almost. That's what she said.
Okay. All of us. Right?
All right, Gary. You take good care, dear.
All right. Thanks so much. Really appreciate talking to you. Okay.
Bye, honey. This is Dr. Ray. I won't be back. I mean, I will, but I can't say I will because I will, so I'm just going to say I won't. You'll have to trust me on that one.
Hey, Catholic parents, could you use a break? Parenting is hard, especially at this time of year, and burnout can steal the joy right out of family life.
Join us, Dr. Craig and Lisa Popchak, on Wednesday, March 18th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for a free webinar sponsored by Ave Maria Radio titled Reclaiming the Joy of Parenting, Overcoming Burnout.
Discover practical, faith-filled ways to recharge your batteries and reclaim the joy of parenting. Register today at AveMariaRadio.net. Don't miss it. Your family's worth it.
Is the ecclesial ministry of the Catholic Church personal as well as sacramental and collegial in character? The Catechism says yes. Jesus Christ, the founder of the Catholic Church, calls his ministers personally when he says, "Follow me." The College of Bishops are related to the Pontiff in Rome as Peter was related to the rest of the apostles. When Christ instituted the 12 apostles, he constituted them in a college or permanent assembly at the head of which he placed Peter, the rock of his church. Our Lord gave Peter the keys to his church, designating him the shepherd of the whole flock. The power Christ gave Peter to loose and to bind was also given to the college of the apostles, united to its head. This pastoral office of Peter and the other apostles belongs to the Church's very foundation and is continued by the bishops under the primacy of the Pope. This is Peggy Stanton, and this has been the Order of Malta's Minute with the Catechism.
Steve and Janet Ray here, announcing we are back in the Holy Land, ready to introduce you to our favorite places in the world, the land where God walked. Mass at the most holy sites, pray the mysteries of the Rosary where they happened, and experience the Bible in vivid color. We have led over 100 groups through this land, sharing the whole story of salvation. Of all the pilgrimages in all of the world, this is the one you should not miss.
Find the Ave Maria Radio travel tab at AveMariaRadio.net.
Very nice to keep you company. Thank you so very much for allowing that. Let's go to an anonymous grandma from Texas who says, She's always been close to her granddaughter. So we'll have to explore that for a second, because sometimes that's, a misleading perception, but we'll find out. Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Dr. Ray. I think that I've always listened to your show, and I think very highly of you. And I have a situation with my granddaughter, and she's 32, and she has my great grandbabies, a little girl and a little boy. And I have been always close to her since she was little. And then when her baby came, even closer. And, but she's going through a divorce right now. And recently she has this attitude, that I can't talk to her. I can't get near her. I don't live close to her, but I drive where she's at to see the babies. But she acts like I'm nobody. Like what am I even doing there?
Can you explain it? Can you explain it? Can you explain it?
Like explain what?
Do you know why this is?
No, I talked to my daughter about it, and why my granddaughter won't answer me my calls or texts or anything, and I haven't talked to the children in about a month. And I asked my daughter, and she says, "Well, she's going through a hard time. Just leave her alone." But I miss the grandkids I've always been close to.
I have a guess.
Excuse me?
I have a
I'm
guess
sorry.
why.
Oh, well...
Do you want me to share it with you?
Yes, please.
Does your granddaughter see you as a religious person?
Yes.
And do you think she thinks that you're going to be upset with her, or you're going to judge her, or you're going to disapprove of her getting a divorce?
Yeah, maybe so. Well, not so much the divorce, because her husband is a real narcissist, and so I don't blame her for wanting to get out of that situation, but not letting us, my daughter and I, get as close to the children as we have always been. It's what I don't understand.
Well, the only thing that's changed, it seems, from what you're describing, is that she has decided to end her marriage. And in her mind, maybe, and I think this is reasonable, that she thinks that you and her mother may not be fully on board with her doing this, even though you think this guy is a pain in the bucket and he's a problem. That she doesn't want to hear it. I think that would be my best guess as to why she's doing this, because she's worried or fearful. See, I knew I was going to get you to agree with me if I just talked on long enough.
You've got me thinking, yes.
And so maybe you ought to tell her next time you talk to her, say, I don't know your situation in your marriage. I don't know what that's all about. I just want you to know I still want to be close to you. That's what you tell her. Yeah. So, in other words, you take away her fear, if you will, however unfounded, that you and her mother are going to say things that she doesn't want to hear. And so her attitude is, look, I'm just going to avoid you.
Yes, because right now the husband has the children 1 week and she has them in the other week. And sometimes when we used to talk, I'd say, well, have you heard from the children? Because she has a call twice a week. And no, I can't talk to them because the dad gets on the phone and I don't want to talk to him.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there, because I'm going to have to stop you. I only got 20 seconds.
Okay.
She's probably saying, I don't want to answer your questions because I don't like the answer I'd have to give you, and I don't want to hear your opinion.
Exactly. Oh, you make me want to cry. Yes.
So when you ask
I
those kinds of
understand
things,
that.
have you called them? Have you talked to them? She takes that defensively. You're questioning me. Don't question me.
Yes,
He's hard to
yes.
get along with. You don't know what he's like. So there you go. So you see, we did figure out a good possibility as to why she's pulling away. So let her know. Let her know. I want to be here for you. I still want to stay close to you and the grandkids, and you'll avoid the discussion of the divorce, at least for now. Those of you who didn't get on, please call back. You will be first up. Thanks, Andrew Kruchek. Thanks, Eric Dumont, and thanks to all of you for keeping me company this time. Hope to see you tomorrow at the Babel Conference in Cleveland, BABL. Walk with God. The best walk. The eternal walk.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.